I think it's an opportunity that's right here and right now. It's not in disguise. It's actually something that we're facing every day. So for the last 8 weeks, we've been meeting every day as a city, both in terms of emergency management and in terms of senior management. And we've been re-examining how it is we work as a city. And so I think this is a real opportunity for city governments to reimagine how they do their work. It's an opportunity for neighborhoods and residents to figure out how they structure their lives, and from where they work to where they live, to how they recreate. So this is a real opportunity to rethink how we do things. So for example, one of the things that I've seen is 6 months ago when we were working on a climate action plan and looking at transportation demand management and how to reduce congestion and lower transportation emissions, teleworking wasn't on the table. Now we have a large chunk of our organization teleworking and may be able to telework into the future. And so it's been awesome to see wide varieties of folks in our city, from our fire department to our equity and inclusion manager to our economic development department, see this as an opportunity to do things where we really truly embrace equity and inclusion, an opportunity to embrace new economies and new ways of doing work, an opportunity to embrace the future of mobility and how we move around our city and how we do that in a lower carbon way. So no, there's an absolute opportunity here. And I think from the cities I'm talking to around the country, there's a lot of folks that really want to use this as an opportunity to reimagine the future, create new, sustainable, regenerative economies, and be open to doing things in new ways. All of our cities have these long-term goals. And I think, yes, some of those goals progress may be slowed down in the next few years. You know, you're going to see municipal budgets and a lot of budgets get cut, and a lot of ability for deep investment to maybe not happen right away. But I don't think that should deter from having that guiding light of a target, which is for us to reduce the harm of climate change and for us to see a livable future for decades to come in our cities and in our country and around the globe. We have to be driving towards that change. And as we do deeper investment, if we do infrastructure investment as a country, or as we continue to invest in regional transportation, we need to be driving towards carbon neutrality. We need to be driving towards more resilient cities. So there might be some short-term setbacks, but that absolutely should not deter us from continuing to look for ways to decarbonize, ways to become more resilient to sea level rise and extreme heat and extreme weather. So we may see some short-term losses in terms of what we can invest in immediately, but that should not deter us from the goal and from finding creative ways to continue to drive towards decarbonization and increased resilience for all of our residents. There's no question that shocks like pandemics and climate change impact vulnerable communities the most. They impact people of color, they impact the elderly, they impact people with pre-existing health conditions. And we need to have policies and programs that help address those inequalities. And so that's one really critical element of any good sustainability and resilience program, is having that equity and inclusion work that really works on deconstructing structural racism and addressing the white supremacy in your organization. Those are very difficult conversations. They're important to have. And they're not only important to have in terms of your whole community, but they're important to have in terms of your own city staff, that frontline staff that's picking up the trash and making sure that the water is getting delivered, and is your public safety folks from police and fire. Those folks are critical to keeping a thriving and a community. And so you need to make sure you have policies in place that keep them healthy, that make sure they're adequately paid, that make sure they have strong benefits. It's an incredible, important piece of the pie. So as I've matured our Office of Sustainability, we've looked both at how we address vulnerable populations as a whole throughout our city. And we've been part of important conversations in terms of making sure that our frontline employees are taken care of and are able to support our residents from everything from trash pickup, public safety to water delivery. So very important piece of the sustainability and resilience puzzle. And we need to continue to figure out ways of lifting up those voices, making sure our frontline workers are heard, making sure our frontline communities are heard, and making sure they're having influence on our city's policies and programs and infrastructure. So I've actually been doing quite a bit of mentorship of some newer members to the Sustainable Cities Network at ASU and to the Urban Sustainability Directors Network. And really, I think that this is an opportunity for folks that are newer to their organizations to do the same thing that you should be doing when you enter your organization, which is listening, looking for areas of opportunity, looking for areas of partnership, looking for areas of cost savings. So I think that this provides an opportunity for you to be useful and valuable to your organization, to make sure that you're engaged in your emergency management operations and with your EOC, and really helping think about what does sustainable and resilient recovery in your city look like. So I think that the basics of sustainability are really important right now. You need to be working on energy efficiency and renewables. You need to be working with folks on creating a more sustainable transportation system in your cities. And then you're going to be needing to look at what a responsible recovery looks like, both from how are we supporting sustainable businesses grow in our city and using this as an opportunity to support sustainable businesses, as well as really looking into who wasn't thriving before COVID and who is COVID keeping from thriving even more. Who are our frontline communities, people of color that are being left out in our cities that need to be lifted up. And so COVID-19 can be a situation that makes a lot of our work harder, but for those of us that are new to organizations, you have the opportunity for your voice to be heard, and you have the opportunity to uplift voices that weren't being heard in your city before.